Hello, amazing souls. Welcome to the Soul Vibe Insights Podcast, a show to demystify the soul, intuition, and the Akashic Records. We know a thing or two about the ups and downs of being on a spiritual growth plan and how to find the higher perspective, even when it seems like there isn't one. I'm your host, Maddie Hollingsworth.
And I'm your host, Emily Pearl. We've been professional intuitives and energy healers for over 20 years now. We believe each of us are on a unique path of growth and learning, and our intuition is meant to be our guide. The problem is, most of us have never learned how to use it. That's where we come in, helping you discover how your intuition works and the lessons your soul has chosen to learn in this life is what we're all about.
All right, y'all, let's jump right into today's show. Welcome back to part 2. What are the Akashic Records? Emily and I are going to continue on our deep dive into what the Akashic Records are, what our experience is like. I'm going to try to answer all your questions. And if we don't, send us a message and we'll get to it. Let us know what your experiences are like if you've been to the Akashic Records too. All right, without further ado, we're going to jump right back into the conversation we were having last week, explaining just what the Akashic Records are.
I feel like that's a pretty good segue, though, into the next point, which is the Akashic Records are a vibration or a frequency. So this may be hard to conceptualize, but think about concepts such as wisdom or success or abundance. Those aren't emotions. Those aren't things that you can touch. And those aren't things that actually have like I'm sure they have definitions of the word, but for each person, that concept or idea differs. For you to think, oh, that person is wise, I'm sure your definition of that person is wise is different from everyone else around you, just as success is or abundance is. So the Akashic Records is kind of the same thing. It's like this concept of knowledge and wisdom. And it's like once you are in this frequency of knowledge and wisdom, then you can access more. You can access different levels or different answers for different questions that you have. We always try to go in with a list of questions. We have found that if you access the records and then try to come up with questions, it's not impossible. It can happen, but you're just like there, like in this floaty, awesome feeling in the Akashic Records. You're like, woo! And sometimes it's hard to get your mind to stay on task.
Absolutely. For me, the earthly representation of this is think deep sea diving submersible that's going a couple thousand feet down and it's pitch black. They have no idea where they are. They're just there and they turn their little lights on and they shine maybe 10 meters out. And whatever they can see or look at, they can perceive and deal with. So if they turn a little left, they can go left. But 99.9% is unknown in pitch black, even though anything's possible to know, potentially. But if you don't have a plan and some questions lined up and you get to the records, it's just kind of like whatever comes when it comes. You may ask about it or maybe not. I've gone without a plan and just the next thing I know, like a couple hours have gone by and I've barely done any research or really channeled any information or thought much, but I sure enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
So having a list of kind of what you're trying to obtain.
If that's what you're going for. If you're wanting to go, if you're just wanting to go and look around and kind of see what you get into, then that's like a whole other experience.
Absolutely. That's an experience you could have. But
totally.
We recommend having some questions laid out ahead of time.
Yeah, if you're looking to gain knowledge.
Yes. If you're looking to actually gain knowledge. And then you may go on a tangent or other questions come up around that, maybe based on the answer you get, or you're just thinking of a spur of the moment, then go with it. Start asking these things, but we would recommend taking at least a small list of questions with you or concepts or ideas that you want to explore. I think your time will be more productive, even though the time can be enjoyable or productive in that way, no matter what.
Yeah.
But as far as obtaining knowledge and information, you will be more productive if you have a slight plan ahead of time.
Yeah. If you're just going looking for a good time, then,
then a good time can be had.
Then don't worry about the questions.
So I was just going to say, when we talk about intention, Emily nailed it. We're talking about the intention of aligning with that vibration or frequency.
Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about how do you perceive information when you are in the Akashic Records? So there's no wrong way to perceive information, but we recommend that if you are looking to gain information in the Akashic Records, oh my God, she's so cute. We're keeping this little kitty right now, and she's just stretching. It's so adorable. Okay.
Hi, Callie. She just woke up from her nap.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting off subject. She's just too adorable. So when you are in the Akashic Records, the way that you will gain information is through your intuitive gifts. And it is highly recommended to actually know what those are. It will make it easier for you to be able to recognize how the information is coming through if you know what your intuitive gifts are. For example, my strongest intuitive gifts are claircognizance, which is knowing, and clairsentience, which is feeling. And then there's some empath gifts in there: psychological empathy, emotional empathy, environmental empathy. So basically, when you know what your intuitive gifts are, you can pull from those different methods of knowing. And that is the easiest way to gain the information through the Akashic Records.
Absolutely. Tapping into your strongest intuitive gift. Don't force clairvoyance. If you're claircognizant, let the information just drop. Don't worry about the visuals. If you're getting visuals too, cool. That's just adding to the richness or the texture of the information you're getting. And maybe you needed that visual to help place that information you got together. And then it just gives you a more well-rounded thing. But when you know your strongest intuitive gifts, lean into that as the way you sense the records at first. And the more you work with your strongest gifts, the more you develop all of the gifts as well within, just with intuitive development in general, but also working within the Akashic Records.
Yeah, that was something that was really surprising to me. I know we've talked about on previous podcasts how I always wanted to I wanted to be clairvoyant so bad. I thought it was so cool, but I also didn't realize that was the umbrella term for just being intuitive in general. And working in the Akashic Records and doing past life research, then I started seeing all of these different visuals. It's like my clairvoyance came through in that moment. I started seeing all these different scenes play out on behalf of our clients. So it was almost like that gift came through because it was necessary for me to pass along that information.
For me, doing past life research, sometimes I feel like a fly on the wall, and I can see a scene taking out. Sometimes I can know the intent of the soul I'm researching for within a scene. At other times, it's like I'm looking through their eyes and you can see the first person perspective of what's happening.
Yeah.
That's when I get the most, I would say, clairvoyance within the records, is I'm researching past life stuff for another soul. And sometimes I feel like I'm in there.
Yeah. Well, and you're also a place empath as well. And so I know that there's been some times that you've come out of it and it's been so intense. You were almost in tears a couple times, and different things happened because it was just so intense to feel all those emotions.
I can.
Or to feel all the emotions of that entire place.
There was some Revolutionary War stuff. I remember that one pretty clearly, just what they did. It wasn't the history that I read about with the Revolutionary War, but all things are pretty much possible and with war and covert missions and stuff. And that was really intense.
Yeah.
That was an interesting one to try to take all that information and present it in a way that was truthful to the information I received, but also not traumatic.
Right.
As, kind of what I went through. That was an intense experience and definitely required some energy clearing after that.
Yeah.
But I never felt unsafe myself. It
right.
was just, oh my God, this is what this soul went through. Wow. Yeah. Holy crap, Something else I wanted to get into around how do we perceive that experience here is, I don't know if it's just because it's part of our empathic gifts or strongest intuitive abilities, or if everybody that checks into soul records perceives this way, but we're not just researching a record for information. I feel almost intertwined or enmeshed with the energy.
Yeah, we're like swimming in it almost.
Like the true essence of that soul's vibration. Because we've talked, if you've listened to our podcast, we talked in the last couple when we went over what a journey of soul is for a soul, or their life between lifetimes. And we did get into the fact that we're all made from the same divine creative force, but it doesn't mean every soul is all light and loving and happy and joyous and good natured. We're all the things, and everyone feels different. Everyone's energy is different, but we've had a couple, particularly memorable experiences. One was with a Mintakan soul. Some just go ahead and call them the Orions, the constellation that Mintaka comes from, but a Mintakan soul, and it was
so beautiful.
It was just pure love. It was pure unconditional love. I know what that, not just conceptually what unconditional love is, or that concept of unconditional love, or experiencing someone like Emily loving me unconditionally, but I was enmeshed with a soul that just is unconditional love.
Yeah. It was so beautiful.
It was so beautiful. I'm getting chills thinking about that.
Yeah.
Right now. So beautiful. We had another experience with a soul that was pure Zen.
Totally.
Just pure Zen, like yin yang balanced perfectly, rock steady, just
Yeah, we like had a good laugh later, like with this person
when we
and their spouse, saying that it was like we were on a beach, like smoking a J or something, just like total chilled out, just total Zen energy. It was so cool. Definitely didn't want to leave that. I was like, wow, I love this feeling. I hope someday I can be this Zen.
Yeah, absolutely. I would take a small dose of this anytime, any day, for sure.
Not that smoking a J just by itself would do that necessarily. Not that level of just like calm and cool.
Oh, totally. No way. I mean, but to try to put into human terms, what I experienced in my consciousness and soul experience and meshed with that soul in the records. Yeah.
I mean, just think of like laying on the beach, feeling the most relaxed that you've ever felt. And that's just how it was.
Warm breezes, you're in the shade of a palm tree. Maybe there's a half-drank drink with an umbrella sitting on a table with condensation rolling down it. Half-gone J, and you're just like, oh man, I feel good.
Ayriman.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that was from my 20s and 30s perspective too, But either way, it was a super Zen experience. And
then we've also had experiences where the soul has been, especially with a contribution soul that hasn't quite gotten to the point where they want to be. It was just, they felt like there was this anticipatory like rush. Like I have all these things to do, but I haven't done them yet, or it was almost, I don't want to say frantic, but definitely like got shits to do,
Mover, shaker, but almost in a rush. Felt like they were behind on something.
Yeah.
And they were already reaching lots of people and helping lots of people, but yet their soul felt like they hadn't quite gotten where they were headed yet. Yeah.
So they
that
hadn't
next
attained,
plateau or something.
Exactly. They hadn't attained like the goal that they wanted to attain. So that wasn't quite, as relaxing to be in, but it's the experience, and it was still a really cool experience. Maybe with those 3 different examples, it kind of shows you. Well, remember, and there was that other one that was just like bored.
Well, okay, I have that in mind, but I did want to say I can't remember what the starseed or the soul group of origination was for the Zen soul. I can't quite remember that.
I think it was Hadarian.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. It was Hadarian. Oh my God, you're awesome. Great memory, babe. So the one that had got shit to do, we'd kind of talked before how Palladian souls are like the movers and shakers. That seems to be their vibration. We talked about that in one of our last podcasts.
Yeah, and that was very much felt.
Very much. I remember the human's name, but I don't remember where their soul was from. But it was this just kind of meh, just bored, just
just lackluster.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just unfulfilled or something.
And Emily mentioned a contribution lifetime. We get into some of these main roles of your life. You're here, the main role is for learning. Obviously, other things are going to happen, or you're here to contribute something to your community or to the world at large. Obviously, there's still going to be learning and other things that happen. You could be here on a support lifetime where you're really supporting maybe an individual or two, or you have a community and you're supporting your community. Other things are still going to happen, but there's also what we would call like a holiday life or a taking one off lifetime. These usually come after couple intense lives of learning, where you've done learning lives 2 or 3 times in a row. And it's a lot to attract that much learning through the law of attraction, because those are the obstacles and challenges in your life. And if you can't find a positive way to view, you're probably attracting more negative circumstances to learn from. Sometimes, trauma's really happened, or tragedy has happened to this soul, and they need to come to earth and still experience earth and go through the motions and some learning and stuff, but in a less intense way, and more of a, not holiday, like, woo, it's a holiday, let's party way, but it's more like, it's a holiday, I'm taking some time for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to chill out a little bit, kind of holiday way, if you will.
I'm not going to have the lessons hitting me in the face every little bit. I'm just going to take some time to just kind of live.
So this soul was on one of those lifetimes, and it felt that way. Totally can feel this vibration of, there's just not this intensity here. This soul's cool and pretty chill, and there's loving energy here, but like you can just tell with this lifetime, they're just kind of, yeah, I could go this way, I could go that way. Yeah, let's see what happens. It was just very like, okay, whatever about it. Yeah. All right, so that's enough of experiences. We could probably go on and on as we're talking. I'm thinking of others as well, but it's safe to say that there may be similarities with soul energy or soul's history, but they're always unique. And that even comes down to our feeling, our perception of being entangled and enmeshed with that energy. It's always unique. Even if we feel a loving vibration in a lot of the souls, it's just mixed with different things and just has this unique vibe. It's just one of the coolest things, that there can be trillions on gazillions of souls that have visited Earth and all of its history, and we're all unique. All of our vibrations are just a little bit different. It's just so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Is gazillion a word?
I don't know. Sure. There's got to be bigger words than trillions. And gazillion seems like one that's out there. I mean, truly, it's probably an infinite number of souls, and that's what I could have stated that more clearly represents how vast the universe is.
Moving on.
All right, moving on right now. So you may have asked yourself, or might be wondering, how does this work? How does the Book of Life or the Akashic Records know my thoughts, know my actions, know what I chose to do or didn't do, knows my words? How is all of this getting relayed back? And you could just accept that God, Goddess, the universe is omnipresent and omniscient, knows everything, and that's it. And just accept that and walk away. But I want to talk to you about a little bit more of a slightly scientific approach that also is going to mix in spirituality. The Akasha, let's go back that this is a Sanskrit word for sky, for space, for ether. This exists all around us and inside of us. Understand that your atomic and subatomic level, that there are space within your atoms and molecules and cells. We are not 100% density. We are energy that vibrates in a way that our eyes perceive a dense being. Just like we look at a chair as dense, or a table, or I can push my body and feel it, so there's density there. That's a perception thing, but there's also a lot of space within us. So there's a lot of Akasha within us. And if you accept that everything was created by a divine force at the beginning, whether you want to go scientific Big Bang or you want to go God, Goddess, the universe, then all matter is God, Goddess, the universe. ourselves included. The table, the chair I just mentioned, anything and everything you can think of is matter, is God, Goddess, the universe, is all one, has or is made of atoms and molecules, so therefore has akasha within it, has space within it. This is how everything is recorded in the Akashic Records. Everything is energy. Your thoughts, your decisions, the unmade decisions, your intentions behind your words and actions. Your words that you speak literally vibrate with energy out into the world. And your actions that you take physically, you're interacting with space as you interact with physical matter. All of this energy is interacting with akasha in some way, either on a atomic, subatomic level, or physically as you move through space to create action, or your words vibrate out through space. Because this is all energy, it's just vibrations, it's electrical signals, it's all happening within the akasha, within space. All of our energy is interacting with the akasha. We have space in the physicality of our cells, our atoms, our molecules. There's space between the synapses in our brain. So your thoughts that you create interact with space to actually be created as a thought and go down a neural pathway. It's going through akasha. You also have space in your heart as you're vibrating your emotions. There's space in the vibration. So as you feel the feels, you're interacting with space. You're interacting with akasha. You're interacting with God, Goddess, the universe. On a microscopic level, matter cannot exist without space, just as space cannot exist without matter. They are intertwined on a molecular level. And to get a little more spiritual, you've probably heard the term all one. That doesn't just refer to souls. It's referring to everything. The totality of existence of the divine's created and manifested reality is all one across all dimensions of time and space. You can't believe that there's a divine creative force in this universe and pick and choose what they created.
Totally.
And pick and choose what is appropriate or right or wrong. All of creation is appropriate. It may not be appropriate for the human that you are. You may not enjoy certain aspects of creation. I don't always enjoy it.
Oh, hell no.
But I do allow the fact that it is all God, Goddess, the universe. Like, I fully accept that all is one. I'm no better or different than the chair or the tree or Emily or the lamp behind me or the air that I'm breathing or the sky that I look at. I know that I'm unique and different, but I also understand that we all come from the same creative divine force and therefore are all made up of that matter and akasha interacting with each other and are therefore all one. So this is how your thoughts, your emotions, your perceptions, your ideas, the things that you only thought, like, how could that get recorded? Because it's interacting with space. The akasha is everywhere. This is how it works. This is in a scientific / spiritual, which I truly think that's the next biggest breakthrough to happen. I don't know when it's coming in this world, is the marriage of science and spirituality to finally work together. We've talked about the magic and logic coming together.
Yes.
Please. You know, like, please come together. Quit separating them. They really are just different aspects of the same. If we could just recognize that science and spirituality are one.
Yeah, combining logic and magic with the two of those together. That's how magic, that's kind of how magic is created, by putting logic with the spiritual.
Yeah.
Like with that intuition. Using logic and intuition, that's how magic is created.
God, the amount of beauty and love that we could create in the world if we could just bring magic and logic and spirituality and science together. And really just start to view things as one and understand on a molecular level we're all one. Not just all human souls are one. We're one with the planet. We're one with the animals, the flora, the fauna. Like, we're all one. If you're willing to open up and
the universe, the stars.
See that potential, yeah, that's even more grandiose. Yeah, I'm one with the stars. That's right. I'm made of stardust, baby. Yeah. So just, consider opening up to that possibility and seeing things that way.
Yeah. We're all divine beings. We're all part of the divine.
There is no coincidence. And everything is for our good, for our learning, for our growth, for our experience. Our perception's what creates bad, good, right, wrong, which means we have the power to shift our awareness and shift our perception and to find more positive or more bad. I mean, it depends where you want to go. And we have that potential, that probability, that possibility within all of us.
So I challenge each and every one of you to take a moment each day to honor that divine within you, to honor that amazing, beautiful part of you that is divine. And once you start honoring that within you, you realize just how amazing you really are.
Because you are.
And how much you're capable of.
Because you are.
And how you can create change in your life.
Because you can.
Indeed.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun today talking about the Akashic Records. I mean, this is definitely one of our favorite subjects, and we're going to wrap things up, but I'm sure Emily and I could go on with this subject. So if you have a question that we didn't quite answer for you, please reach out to us.
Yes, we would love that.
I always make sure that the email's there within the show description for you. Vibin, VIBIN, at soulvibeinsights.com.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what questions you have. We're happy to expand some more. We get a few questions together. I mean, maybe we'll just do another podcast on questions about the Akashic Records.
Or questions about anything that has to do with spirituality or an experience that you personally had. If you just want to share your experience, we would love to be your sounding board.
Totally. That would be super cool as well.
Yeah.
All right, soul friends. Like we said, we had a lot of fun.
Yes, we did.
It's time to make dinner. And like we mentioned earlier, we're going to go shake our booties. To Jesse's band, the pour tonight. Pretty excited about that.
I don't know if you've ever said the word booty before.
Well, I mean, I guess I could say shake my ass. I'm about to go get down.
Yeah. I came to get down.
But I'm feeling fun, so shake my booty came out. Yeah.
All right. We are so grateful to have you all listening to us today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Until next week, take care of yourselves.